Shorthand English higher grade 120 words per minute SBTET speed papers October 1961. Please get ready. Start. Honorable members will appreciate that no system of legal aid to the poor can be devised or function without proper financial resources to back it. We had, after I had taken charge of the ministry, formulated a model scheme of legal aid to the poor, whose funds should be partly realized from the state and also by contribution either from the earnings it made from court fees and other sources of income connected with the court. We decided at the Law Ministers' Conference on my own motion that a part of the fees which a lawyer would pay to the Bar Council and also to the bar must be set apart for legal aid to the poor. Of course, that would not be enough by itself, but it would certainly give a part of the income necessary for any state to make any scheme of legal aid to the poor and also help the legal profession to share partially the burden of legal aid to the poor. If a part of what the lawyers pays for entry into the legal profession is kept in reserve for legal aid to the poor, it is not possible to estimate the exact amount which would be necessary in every state to enable a proper scheme of legal aid to the poor being put into force. Yet, the states have been demanding at least 50% contribution from the center to enforce any such scheme which the Ministry of Law at the center had formulated and circulated. And in the Law Ministers' Conference, they unanimously resolved. Of course, the center did not at all take part in the resolution that the center should at least find 50% of the expenses for a scheme of legal aid to the poor. So far as the Parliament and the central government are concerned, today a steel factory appears to have a greater value to us than any matter connected with the question of really improving the system of justice we have. Personally, I think that it is not a very good sign that this country should lose sight of the essential necessity of having a system of justice which not only sustains the Constitution but also preserves the right of every man to get justice as between man and man. For if we have a system which does not give us justice, if we have a system of government which is not shared by the common man, if the dispensation of our governmental machinery does not create the feeling in the common man that justice is done as between man and man and without really putting the poor man always at a disadvantage, I do not think any of our big achievements in the industrial sphere is worthwhile having. Not that I am one who is at all trying to minimize the importance of other things in life. It is necessary to give this country an industrial background or to make this country materially a stronger one. But nevertheless, I think the values of life, more particularly the values that are basically fundamental in a democratic government, can never be allowed to be put into the background, excepting at the cost of jeopardizing the very basis of our life, which is a free government, a free parliament, and a system of independent courts whose doors are always open to the common man, and whose charges are such that it is not difficult for the common man to come to its doors, and those who cannot get the advantage of the courts are given the advantage by the state. These are fundamentals for which we had labored and which will again sustain our free way of life, and no amount of material comfort or material convenience can give us that happy life, that full life, that wholesome life, until a proper democratic government with a system of justice which is shared by all and sundry, including the poorest and the richest, is made absolutely secure. Nevertheless, I must say that today the priorities are different. One of the reasons why initially the British government had made itself secure was not because it had a strong army, not because it came with a better military technique, not because we were divided amongst ourselves, but because their system of law was different. Every historian, Indian or European, admits that initially the task of the Britishers would not have been so easy, but for the fact that wherever they went, a system of law was introduced, which was different from the system of law which our rulers at that time were enforcing, which was nothing but the capricious fire of the ruler, which knew no equality as between man and man, and who never dispensed justice equally between man and man. That is the one system which is still retained, for which the Britishers are rightly proud. I am not saying of the ancient practice, but the practice which had then prevailed. My dear Jawahar, when I think of my accident at Allahabad, I find that nothing more could have been done for my comfort and treatment by my own people here, and it happened in Calcutta. Indeed, the nearest and dearest of my relatives could not have felt more than you did for me there. I do not know how to express my feelings of gratitude to you. Believe me, my heart is extremely grateful for your love and kindness. There are numerous ordinary things which tend to create deep feelings of heart. While coming from Allahabad, you looked into the very minor details about my comforts for a journey which had to last for only a night. I did not know how many things have been sent with me. Reaching here, I found that even a bottle of Eudecolon was placed in the basket. I do not know whether you have seen the letters of Subhas to Gandhiji. It is a pity that Subhas Babu is exactly in the position where he was born, Tripuri, and there is no hope that he will improve the situation by acting on the Tripuri resolution. On the one hand, he calls the Panth resolution against the constitution and ultra vires. On the other, he wants Gandhiji to accept certain conditions. Along with this, he does not hesitate in making the extravagant assertion that the Panth resolution would have been lost had the socialist group not become neutral. However, there is no hope of the Congress moving along Subhas Babu. The whole thing will come to dead stop. We have therefore to chalk out the future line of action. I consider the affair of Subhas Babu to be neither a struggle between the right and the left, nor the question of composite and homogeneous working committee. It is only a matter of Subhas and some of his supporters. It matters little in what form the tangle comes to an end. We have to consider these questions independently and specifically in order to reach a solution. I hope you have received my last letter and you have phoned to Lucknow about Sultan Ahmad. Yours sincerely.